Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode number 21 of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential, and together we will change the world. If you're a first-time business startup, you got to listen to this. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have serial entrepreneur, author of JoJo's Adventure, public speaker from the education arena, graduate from Morehouse College, a brilliant businessman of today's time, Joshua Scott.
This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
Lead to Greatness. Come on, get those notepads ready. Man, you got a lot of information. I have Josh Scott here on today. Please help me welcome Joshua Scott. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing great, Cedric. Thank you so much, man, for giving me the opportunity to speak to the Lead to Greatness community. I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm excited and I'm inspired by the things that you're doing, the people that you're reaching, the conversations that you're having to involve those leaders, those entrepreneurs in our community, and giving them insight and showing them how to lead, and not only just to lead, but to lead with greatness.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's an honor and pleasure to have you on today. I've been watching you for, over 5 years, the way you do business and watching all the great things you do, man. The way you give back to the community, in the humble community here in outskirts of Houston, Texas. I know we have internationals that's listening. You do a lot of outreach and giving back in Humble, Texas, just a little outside of the skirts of Houston. And see you do all these different things, man. And man, you have, so many things going on. You know what? Let me stop right here and you go ahead and introduce yourself to the Lead to Greatness community and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Oh, man, I'm excited. So Lead to Greatness community, let me start off by simply saying I am Joshua T. Scott. Who is Joshua T. Scott? Joshua T. Scott is a young man who grew up with a dream. My fifth grade teacher, she inspired me to this day. I'm still encouraged by her, and I'm still motivated by her words. Her words as a young man, she told me, she said, all of the great men that she ever knew went to Morehouse College. And so at that moment, in the fifth grade, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I wanted to go to Morehouse College, only to then later find out that individuals like Martin Luther King, Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee, a lot of the great individuals went to Morehouse College, and I am excited and honored to be amongst the ranks of men that have walked across the stage of Morehouse College. That's and awesome. So being from Houston, being a young man who grew up in the inner city, who saw a lot of my friends go to jail, a lot of my friends get addicted to drugs, a lot of my friends who turned to a life of crime, and seeing that, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that was not the life for me. And the one thing about being a great leader is identifying where is it that you're trying to go. And so if you want to be a leader, you have to know where you want to lead people to. Everybody wants to lead, but if you only lead me to the ditch, why should I follow you?
Absolutely.
Right? And so growing up in the inner city of Houston, I knew that I wanted to do something positive. I grew up with a family of entrepreneurs. My grandmother owned a barbershop. My uncle owned a mechanic shop. My other uncle owned a car lot. And so growing up and seeing those entrepreneurs, I knew that going to college was a means to an end for me, because I knew I was going to own a business. I was going to have a business because I had learned those key principles from watching my grandmother and watching my uncles work every single day. Wow. And so in order to be a great leader, you have to have great work ethic. And I'm talking about myself, but I'm also dropping some nuggets in the meantime. Absolutely. Everybody wants to own a business. Everybody wants to be the CEO. Everybody wants to be a boss and drive a nice car. But all of that will happen if you have the right work ethic, if you Absolutely. Can inspire, if you can lead with greatness. Because a lot of times just opening a business doesn't mean you're going to get business right away.
Right.
Opening a business doesn't mean you're going to make $100,000, $200,000, $1 million in your first couple of years. It may be years before you do that. And so after graduating high school, I went on to Morehouse College. After graduating, I came back to work in my community, the North Forest community area. I worked as an after-school director for after-school programs at high schools and middle schools. And so, believe it or not, I'm going to tell this funny story. I don't want to take up too much time, but I do want to tell this funny story. Oftentimes, we're driven by our passion and we're motivated by the kind of money that we want to make. We're driven by our passion, but we're motivated by the kind of money that we want to make. And so working in the school was fine. It was great. I went to one, at that time, I was about 22, 23 years old. I was one of the youngest directors in the state of Texas. I was one of the youngest directors. And so I went to the boss and I said, hey, listen, I would like to make as much money as the other directors. They were making between $5,000 and $10,000 more than me. But because you're fresh out of college, they feel like, hey, you should be good with whatever we give you. And it was a good salary. I wasn't mad about the salary, but I wanted to make as much as everybody else.
Hey, real quick. So how old were you then?
22, 23 years old.
Okay. Awesome. Right, go ahead.
I'm fresh out of college, graduated in 2004. I got this job in October of 2004.
Okay.
So 2004, 2005, I went to her. I said, hey, listen, I think that I should make as much money as they are. My program is more successful than them. I have as many kids as they have, if not more kids. I'm doing a great job. She said, well, listen, I'm going to give you a goal. And getting high school students to come to an after school program was virtually impossible at that point. Because, once they get to high school, they think they're grown, they're important. Right. They don't want to come to anything after school. She said, listen, if you get 75 kids consistently to come to your program every day, I'll give you a raise. I say, cool. Within a 3-month time period, I knocked that out the water. I got 100 kids showing up every day to my program.
Wow.
What are some of the things that I did to get kids to come? I brought in a guitar player. I was teaching kids how to play guitar. I brought in a sound engineer. We created a sound studio where we were able to allow kids to make rap music and make songs. Wow. I brought in a hairstylist to teach kids how to make money on the side, braiding and cutting hair. So I pretty much took trades where kids can use to make money to encourage them to come to the after school program. And so I went back to her. I say, hey, listen, I've hit my numbers for the last 3 months. I've exceeded what you asked me to do. I'm ready for my raise. She said, listen, Scott, I really didn't intend on giving you a raise. I was just trying to give you some motivation.
Wow. Wow.
It's like that, man. So at that moment, I say, okay, look, that was cute. We did that. Now it's time for me to do something else. Yeah. So the end of 2006, 2007, I started transitioning myself out of the schools to kind of be on my own, working with the school, but not necessarily working in the school. Yeah. And so our businesses have evolved since 2007. I have not cashed a check from a direct employer since 2007.
Wow, man.
So our companies have been in business for the last 13 years. And so what we've done with our model, with the way that we like to work is over those 13 years, we have grown from industry to industry. As the education industry wasn't quite paying like we needed them to pay, we went on to the trucking industry. From the trucking industry, we went on to the security industry. From the security industry, we went on to the driving element of education industry. From there, we went on to food services. From there, we have gone on to real estate. So all of our businesses have grown off of each other. As I would like to tell anybody, it's important to have multiple streams of income. Yes. I'm going to say that one more time to all those leaders out there. It is important to have multiple streams of income, because if one stream dry up, you have another stream that you can fall back on. Yeah. Then that stream may pick back up, but then at that point, things just happen over a period of time. When it comes to business, no business is going to be successful every single day of the year. You're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows, you're going to have your droughts, but how you navigate your droughts will determine the ability that you have to actually lead.
Wow.
And during the course of all of that, I was able to graduate from Prairie View A&M University. So I have a master's in community development. I'm also a couple classes away at University of St. Thomas from getting my doctorate degree. Well, not a few,
Wow,
I'm about
man.
7 classes away from getting my doctorate degree. But at this moment, people laugh at me like, "What you waiting on? You've been doing this over a year and a half." I'm not necessarily as motivated to get the PhD right now. My main focus is growing my businesses and positioning myself. My goal as an entrepreneur is to have over 200 people in the city of Houston working for our organization.
Wow. This man, hey, hit the reverse button because there's some things, man, I really want to touch on. Man, you talked about the lady in the administration, how she told you, she gave you this false expectation. But what I love about it is, man, your drive to get it done, your drive to make it happen. And not only that, but your drive to adjust. You adjust because you didn't just say, okay, you know what, we're going to do the natural thing, you know, to getting these kids in school. You got creative and you made these things happen. And everything that you did then, before you even started your entrepreneurship journey, was already inside of you. I mean, you even back a little bit more. You talked about your grandmother. You talked about your uncle. So you had all this entrepreneur spirit, you know, inside of you. And one of the things I want you to touch on, because this is what happens a lot of time. It happens. I forgot. I wish I would have had a chance to look at the statistics. I've seen it before, but I can't remember. But there is statistics that talk about how many businesses open up every day and how many close every day. And the reason why these businesses do not survive because of the capital. Because one of the things I see it in my family, man, there's talented people in my family. There's talented people that's listening to this Lead to Greatness podcast right now. There's talented people that started the business, but they didn't have any money. They didn't have any capital. And they thought, for whatever reason, they thought soon as they start, everything was going to turn around and work out. And that's one of the things I've learned, man. I've just a couple of months ago, this year, before Good Friday, I mean, we worked out some things at the company, the corporate company I work for, man, and I'm still there, you know, man, you know, it's a win-win situation for both parts. But, man, I was getting ready to, you know, walk away from the job because me and my wife and I spent 5 years getting ready for this transition, man. It was like, okay, I know it's going to take money. Even when we started Lead to Greatness, you know, I thought in my mind, I said, man, you know what? I'm going to give 2 years before I even, you know, looking for, you know, any profit in this business. And, you know, I'm listening to you and you said it. And I want you because I think the more of us entrepreneurs that can share this with people and let them know, hey, it takes more than just having a dream. It takes more, you know, having the idea. You must have the money to back up this idea till it begin to roll wheels by itself, get the momentum to go. So talk to that leader that want to start that business, but they don't have the funds to do it. What kind of advice would you give to them?
I'm going to give 2 scenarios, 2 stories. Well, not really scenarios, 2 actual real stories
Help us out.
that directly affected my organization and what it is that I do.
Okay.
I remember my first summer being in business in 2007 by myself. My payroll for that summer was $20,000. Payroll it was a month and a half because at that time we were only paying our teachers once a month because teachers are used to being paid like once a month.
Okay.
So our payroll was about $20,000. I had $10,000 saved up myself, so I had to try and find that other $10,000. At that moment, what I decided to myself was, I said, listen, if I have to sell my truck, if I have to sell everything in my apartment, if I have to go live in the house with my grandmother again for a couple months, I am going to do whatever it is that is necessary to get this thing done.
Yes.
I talked to a couple of my family members. I talked to a couple of my friends, and you know, nobody really had excess money that they could allow me to have. My wife, who was not my wife then, we had just kind of started dating at that particular time. We were dating for about a year or so at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to her and I said, listen, I need you to go try and get a loan on your credit card for this extra $5,000 that we need.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she went to the bank. She got a loan on the credit card. And as they like to say, the rest is history.
So
that $20,000, go ahead.
at the time you said she wasn't your wife then.
She was not my wife. We were dating. We were
Okay.
dating.
Hey, that's a whole nother marriage story right there, man. But go ahead.
But I'm gonna tell
Go
everybody.
ahead. Here's the pin. Go ahead.
For me, that sealed the deal.
Yes, sir.
Because she was willing to sacrifice as much as I was willing to sacrifice.
Yes.
That was enough for me to know, hey, you're just committed to this project as I am committed to this project. Now, what I tell the Lead to Greatness family is that $20,000 payroll was equivalent to me making $100,000 because that's the amount of money I was going to make. As long as I could make my payroll, I was going to make $100,000 from the work that we did that summer.
Okay.
But I had to make my payroll because my teachers wouldn't kept working if I couldn't make my payroll.
Absolutely.
And so that $100,000 has in 2007 has spun us 13 years.
Wow.
13 years.
Wow.
Now, I say that to say this. When we first got into the security industry, we were kind of ending the tutorials after school program. We were kind of getting ready to end trucking because trucking wasn't really working out for me. Trucking works for some people. It didn't work for me. I'll give you that story too if you guys are interested in that story.
Okay.
I literally worked for a year and a half doing security before we got our first contract.
Wow.
We worked a year and a half, which means I had to pay my security license. I had to pay my assistant who was working for me at the time. I was paying marketers. I was paying people who were going out talking to people to get security contracts. We literally worked for a year and a half before we got our first contract.
1 year and a half. Okay.
1 year and a half. Now our security company has over 85 people that work for it.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I know people like to hear the successes. People always like to hear the successes, and nobody tends to like to hear the failures.
Right. And we thank you for being transparent, man, because entrepreneurs don't talk about the failures. So people think business, they look at you now, what you have right now. They may look at your house. They may look at your business and be like, oh, man, you know what? I want to start a business. But they don't know what you went through and all the price you had to pay, the sacrifice you had to make to get to where you are right now. So, man, we definitely appreciate you sharing this story and your transparency, man. Come on, keep going.
Man, with trucking, I'm gonna say with trucking, one of my friends, and he's still my friend today, even though we had a bad business venture together, we're still friends, and I blame myself for not heeding sound counsel. And I want to tell everybody, if you're gonna be a great leader, you have to heed sound counsel.
Absolutely.
You have to heed to wisdom. Several people told me at the very beginning of getting in trucking, they say, hey, listen, Scott, don't go and buy a bunch of trucks. Start off with one truck and one trailer. After you do that one truck and one trailer, see if that works, and then go and invest. But because I'm a go big or go home kind of guy, I'm a all in. We got to make it happen all in. My friend, we went to high school together. We talked on the phone one day. I said, hey, listen, man, I see that you have a trucking company. Let's work together on another trucking company, and you'll be my partner.
Yeah.
You have the expertise. I have the know-how. Let's get it done. Needless to say, 3 months into working together, after I've purchased 4 trucks, purchased 4 trailers, I spent over $150,000 on equipment, getting these trucks outfitted, getting everything working. He comes to me and he says, Scott, I don't think we should be partners anymore.
Wow.
Because he didn't want me to make money off of the work that he was doing. He only wanted to make his own money. So now I'm stuck in an industry that I really know nothing about. 4 trucks, 4 trailers, not even really understanding the protocol of how you hire drivers, how you bring drivers in. I literally at this point, Cedric, I don't even know how to move an 18-wheeler.
Wow.
But I'm stuck with all this equipment. So at that point, and I'm being very transparent as I can, and I've said this many times over, during that time frame, I had about $300,000 in the bank. Had about $300,000 in the bank. I woke up one morning. This is very serious. I woke up one morning. I had $1,500 in the bank. Wow. At that moment, I looked at myself and I said, man, you've made a huge mistake. So immediately my goal was to try and get out of the trucking business as soon as I can. I sold all the equipment for half the cost, not even half the cost, a third of the cost of what it was. Because at that point, my goal was just to get back some of the money so I can try and stabilize my life.
Yeah.
Your partner, who you're married to, who your life partner is, whoever is committed to you, that person is going to play an integral role in whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's lead a business, whether it's lead a church,
absolutely,
lead a ministry, whatever it is, your partner is going to play an integral role.
Yeah.
Of all the money that I lost, my wife never once said, Scott, you wasted all of our money. What are you doing?
Yeah.
She never once said, like, man, I'm going to have to leave you because you throwing away all of our assets. The only thing she said was, look, if you made it once, you need to go make it again.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. You said something, man. I really want to touch on this nugget. One of the nuggets. I mean, you got plenty of nuggets, but I'm talking. You got so many nuggets. Listen to this. Rewind this. Lead to greatness, and watch it over and over and over again. It's full of nuggets. But there's one nugget we talked about already is the finance, which is the capital. Make sure you have enough money to start the business. Make sure you have something that's going to get you, thinking yourself and be realistic. How long is it going to take for me to do this business? And not only that, you have to think about things like advertisement. It costs money, and advertisement is necessary. This is a busy, noisy world. I mean, it's a lot easier now with Facebook and all these things to advertise. I mean, but it still costs money. So you have to put money to the side, not just for, paying somebody for payroll, not just for, just all those things, which, Scott can touch on some of those, but it's a lot of things you have to consider, when you're getting ready to start a business. And the next thing he said, and I want you to listen to this, I don't want you to miss this nugget. When he said about the trucking company, he said, understanding the business. You must understand the business that you are in. You cannot be entrepreneurship. It's one thing to partner with somebody, but if you partner with somebody, make sure, that's a whole nother nugget. Make sure that they're the right partner for the job. Make sure that they're in it for the long haul, because if they are not, and they understand the business, and they have the business understanding, and you have the money, and they walk out with the understanding, your money is not going to get you anything, and you're just going to lose it. So listen to me. Listen to me. Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead.
It's amazing, man. And not only realizing that you have to have the right partner, but making sure that that person is equally invested.
Yes.
Making sure that that person is equally invested.
Yes, sir.
As we spun off in 2016, we invested in a restaurant. We had a restaurant here in the Humble area that we invested in. A lady was losing the restaurant. She was literally losing the restaurant. She could not afford to keep the restaurant in business. My wife, she came to me and she said, hey, there's a lady that I know. She's losing her restaurant. I think you should go and talk to her, because with your abilities, I think you could turn the restaurant around.
Wow.
We invested $12,000 over a 2.5 month period to help her catch up on the rent, marketing, changing the restaurant around. Over 3 months, her sales literally went from $1,500 a month to $7,500 a month in a 3 month time period. But wait, don't applaud just yet. Let me tell you what happened. Right. After 3 months, once she realized that her business was actually able to make money, she came to me and said, what can I do to get you out of my business, because I can sustain myself now?
Wow.
After 3 months, not only that, she changed the locks on me. She wouldn't return my phone calls. She booted me off of the Facebook page. Like, this lady intentionally, her whole goal was to try and manipulate us out of our resources.
Wow, man.
That was money that we just basically lost. It just completely went down the drain. And so I say it's important, man, to know who you're dealing with, to know who you're in business with, because not everybody have good intentions. Right. And because not everybody have good intentions, sometimes you're going to take a loss, not because you're not capable or not because you're not able, but simply because the other person that's your partner didn't have the right intentions for you.
Right. So with that being said, will it be safe to say, if you're going into business with a partner, if you're doing anything, joint business venture, to make sure you get with a lawyer and go through the proper paperwork, firsthand, whether it's your cousin, and I say this because it happens in families. I mean, it's two cousins get together, have this great idea, but man, I didn't see business. I done seen money destroy families, destroy relationship between brothers and sisters, destroy relationship between twins that used to wear the same shirts every day, man, as you know, in their 20s, you know. So I mean, I done seen money destroy people. So would you agree with me that it's safe, you know, to make sure you get with a lawyer? It may cost you a lot.
Make sure you get with a lawyer, get your paperwork in order, but mainly make sure that the person has good intentions.
Yeah.
Good intent. And when going into business, what I tell everybody is, my new motto is, if your goal is to live off of this money immediately, we don't need to go in business together.
Absolutely.
Every business that I start, and this is a key principle that I've learned over the years. Every business that you start, you need to give that business time to grow. So you shouldn't start a business and have to live off of the business at the exact same time.
Yeah.
You should start a business, allow that business to grow. Then when it gets to a certain place, then you can start receiving those assets, those benefits, those resources from that business.
So you said certain place. So just helping us out. Somebody that don't know anything about business, they have an idea and they want to get started. You say don't take until they get to that certain place. Like, give us an example of what that place we're talking about.
I'll give you a great example. I just had a cousin, because you just mentioned family members. I just had a cousin that called me a couple of days ago. And he said, hey, I'm going to start a t-shirt business. I'm looking at a building. The man want me to pay $2,000 a month for a building. So my first question was, have you sold $2,000 worth of t-shirts?
Wow.
He said, no, I haven't sold $2,000 worth of t-shirts. I said, have you sold $1,000 worth of t-shirts? He said, no, I haven't sold $1,000. I said, so why would you go and commit yourself to a $2,000 a month building and you haven't even sold $2,000 worth of shirts?
Yeah.
I said, if anything, he said, well, the machinery is going to be big. You know, I'm going to need a lot of space. I said, well, if anything, you should go and get a bigger apartment. Instead of living in a 2-bedroom apartment with your kids, go get you a 3-bedroom apartment. Make that 3rd bedroom your office space.
Yes.
Make that 3rd bedroom your workspace until you're able to see a profit where you pay for your machine, you pay for your equipment, you pay for your t-shirts, and now you can say, hey, from the t-shirt business, I'm able to make $2,000 a month. Then you can say, well, out of that $2,000, I'm going to pay myself $1,000 and I'm going to put $1,000 in reserve for the next set of expenses that I'm going to have with the business.
That's a nugget right there. Lead to greatness. Listen, I hope you're taking notes. I mean, Josh is just throwing nugget after nugget after nugget at us. I mean, listen to this. I don't want you to miss this. I don't want you to miss this. What he's saying, basically, listen to me, Lead to Greatness community. Keep the cost as low as you possibly can without compromising your business. I'm going to say it again. Keep the cost as low as possible without compromising your business. Wow, Josh, man, you're killing us here. You're killing us with all these nuggets, man. I believe this, all this information right now that you're giving, man, should be a fee for this, man.
And you know, believe it or not, I find it that as successful as I have been in business, a lot of people don't really listen to a lot of the things I say because I'm not flashy. Because I'm not interested in wearing a gold chain. I'm not interested in wearing Gucci shoes and Gucci belts all the time. You know, I'm the blue collar CEO. Yeah. I'm still a blue collar CEO. I like to put my security uniform on and go check on my guards in the middle of the night.
That's awesome.
I like to go work a post from time to time. I like to get on a food truck and fry some wings up and make some orders. I like to go to one of my real estate properties and paint a room or something. I like to be constantly involved in the things that I do because that way you know the quality of the products that you're putting out. Yeah. Sometimes people just want to say, I own a business just to say I own a business. But if you, for instance, my food truck, if I'm just throwing people on the food truck without making sure the quality of the food is good, then I'm not going to have a food truck for long.
Absolutely.
So I'm one of those guys. I like to be involved in things that I do. And as much information that I have, as much information that I try to give, again, people like flash. They like the show. And understanding business is not about the show. Business is about the hard work that you put in.
let's talk about this. You said something. I really want to touch on this because, man, I'm telling you guys, nugget after nugget. You just talked about how you like to basically get your hands dirty. And here it is, man. You have a lot of people want to start a business because they don't want to work. Speak to that.
Listen, I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer. If you be faithful over few, he will make you rulers over many.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to get preachy at all.
Yes, sir.
But I say that because a lot of times everybody want to be a boss. But if you don't know how to be on time to work at your job now, you're not gonna know how to be on time at work when you own your own business.
Help us.
If you don't know how to manage your check that you get every week, you're not gonna know how to manage your business.
Help us.
If you don't know how to manage the people on your job and work out conflict, you're not going to be able to manage people when you own your own business. So the very work ethic that you have on your job now is probably the same work ethic you're going to have when you start a business. Yeah. And if you're a bad employee, you're definitely going to be a bad boss.
Yeah. And man, nugget after nugget after nugget. I'm telling you, man, we get through all these nuggets, man. I have more gold than Fort Knox Reserve, man. Man, you definitely hit nugget after nugget, man. And you said another thing, man, that I really. So listen to me. If you thinking about starting a business, Josh, he just said something that was just I'm telling you, golden information. When he said, you have to, I want you to look at your own situation. When you go to work, do you go to work on time? Ask yourself another question. Do you know how to budget your own money? Like when you get paid, are you living from paycheck to paycheck? Listen, I'm not judging you. I'm not knocking you. What we're trying to do, we're trying to make you successful in doing business. I'm not talking about you. I mean, work on do you know how to pay your bills? What do your credit look like? All this is ideas of what type of business you're gonna have and how long your business is gonna last. This is the thing. I recommend you. I'm not telling you don't seek after your dream. I'm not telling you don't go after it. I want you to go after it. But maybe you need to start with your mindset. Change the way you think. If you have an attitude problem, you need to change your attitude before you think about going into business. If you have money issues, you need to resolve your money issues and stop living above your means. Listen to me. I'm not trying to tell you don't start your business. And don't hang up right now. I want you to stay on here. We're really trying to help you. I promise you, we are both trying to grant you 100% success. Listen, Lead to Greatness is helping others reach their greatest potential. And together we all can change the world. We are trying to help you be a better leader, be a better entrepreneur, be a better business owner. Even if somebody else failed, you can succeed. It's all about your mindset. You have to learn how to get up on time. You have to get up when everybody else is sleeping. You have to get up early. Josh, what time do you get up in the morning? Give us a little bit of how your day go, for wake up to going to sleep.
I literally work 18 to 20 hours a day.
Okay.
I work 18 to 20 hours a day.
Pause. You work what?
18 to 20 hours a day.
Before you continue, Josh, listen to me, Lead to Greatness. If you're struggling with working 8 hours a day, don't do it. I'm telling you. Don't do it. Go ahead, Josh.
And what I tell people is there's levels to entrepreneurship. There's levels. There's levels. And because there's levels to entrepreneurship, my entrepreneurship may not look like your entrepreneurship.
All right.
But if your goal is to obtain the level of success that you desire, it's not going to be wrapped up in a one-man show. It's not going to be wrapped up in a one-man show. And for me and my company, again, we have employees. A lot of entrepreneurs, they start out with just them and I'm an entrepreneur. But when you get to the level where you have employees, that's a whole different ball game because you're paying taxes, you're paying unemployment insurance, you're paying healthcare. There's things that you're paying that you don't necessarily do when you're a one-person operation.
Yeah.
And so with our organization, again, because I have the security company, because I have the food truck, because I have so many other things going on, my day started at 6 o'clock in the morning, actually 5:50, because our first shift is at 6 o'clock. We have a shift at 6 o'clock. We have a shift at 6:30. We have a shift at 8:30. We have a shift at 10:30. Then our shift change is at 2 o'clock.
Wow.
Then we have the food truck people who start at 11 o'clock. And again, like I said at the very beginning, I'm not afraid of throwing on a uniform.
No.
At 6:10, if somebody call and say, hey, so-and-so not coming to work today, we have 2 other supervisors, and our goal is to say, okay, who's the closest to that facility? That person got to get up and go right now. On the food truck, this week alone, we've had a couple issues with the food truck where a couple of our people couldn't make it in. We couldn't close the food truck. I threw my Crazy Fries Eat My shirt on, and I got on the food truck, and I was frying up wings.
Whoa. So you mean to tell me that as an entrepreneur that you have problems?
Oh, you have, as Jay-Z
Come on,
no,
you
got 99 of them. You got 99 because you cannot predict what other people are going to do. And again,
Absolutely.
That's why I say there's levels to entrepreneurship. It's easy when you're a one-man show, when it's you and your wife, or it's you, your wife, and your kids. You guys can navigate an operation. But when you're dealing with mothers, you're dealing with fathers, you're dealing with kids who take care of their grandmother, kids who take care of their grandfather. At the drop of a dime, somebody can call and say, hey, my kid just got sick at school. I have to leave work right now.
Yeah.
And so at that point, you got to make that determination. Is it easier for me to just go sit at this post for 2 hours? Or do I need to try to find somebody and call that person in to go and work for 2 hours? Sometimes you can find somebody that'll go work, but sometimes you don't. So if you're afraid of hard work, you're going to end up losing that contract because you don't want to get out of the comfort of your bed. You don't want to leave the golf course. You don't want to leave hanging out with your boo at lunch to go and do it. Yeah. So you end up losing. So again, there's levels of entrepreneurship, but the greater you want to become with your business, the stronger you have to be mentally.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, man, I can really go deep into this last piece we just talked about when you talked about, the employees, and really in your case of it, because man, we're going to be that would take probably about 20 minutes by itself to deal with that. Man, so far, man, I really, man, I'm telling you, man, I know Lead to Greatness is definitely writing notes right now and excited for, all the information, the big nuggets, man, that you have definitely given us. Right now, man, we're in the midst of a pandemic. We're in the midst of a pandemic, man, and it's taken our community, our world, our country by surprise. Man, nobody was ready for or prepared for this. Let me ask you this question: how has COVID-19 impact the way you do business?
Man, in a variety of ways. Not only has our company lost money, but we've had to be more creative on how to keep those individuals who are not working.
Wow.
Of course, we as everybody has lost during this time period. Yeah. From a security standpoint, a lot of the locations that was once open are no longer open.
Yeah.
A lot of the places that required security because they were closed for a month and a half, 2 months. Now they don't have the budget to pay for security.
Yeah.
So what we had to do in order to keep our morale up for our company, we had to create different positions for people to just work so they don't have to file unemployment. That's now, awesome. Some, yes, of course, they went and filed unemployment because that's what they wanted to do. Yeah. As a business owner, Lead to Greatness, listen, let me tell y'all something. In the middle of this pandemic, I literally have to fight 15 unemployment cases a week.
Wow.
Because people don't want to come to work. And I'm telling unemployment, hey, on our end, we have work. We may not have a full 40, but we have 30 hours worth of work. We have 36 hours worth of work. We have work for you. That's something that you will get to as you continue to grow your business. But even in that, some people will look at you and knowing that the company is going to take a hit from unemployment and still go file unemployment.
Wow.
So from a COVID-19 standpoint, we have had to adjust in such a way where we find compassion and empathy, but a dose of reality. Compassion, empathy, and a dose of reality. And that dose of reality is there's still work here for you.
Yeah.
But we understand that as a mother, you have to get your kid up every morning and do virtual school. You have to get your kid up and you have to take them to the daycare. So whereas in the past, we did require you to be at work from 6 to 2 every day. However, we may need to modify your schedule and let you come in at 10 o'clock and work 10 to 2 or 10 to 3. So now you have time to get up in the morning, help your kids with their homework, with their virtual school, take them to daycare, but you get off in time enough to go home and help them with their virtual homework. So empathy and compassion with a dose of reality, which is for the person who takes care of a senior mother, a senior father. Okay, you used to work overnight, but now because of everything that's going on, you don't really feel comfortable leaving your elderly parents at home by themselves. Right. Let us modify your schedule where instead of working 5 nights a week, maybe you work 3 nights a week and we give you 2 midday shifts. So empathy, compassion with a dose of reality, and it comes on all sides. Allowing everybody who works with the team to understand it's about the team. How do we move forward together? You give a little, I'm going to give a little. You take a little, I'm going to take a little. But we're moving together as a team. We're moving forward.
Wow, man, that's awesome, man. Golly, man, I really definitely appreciate everything you're doing in the community, man. Just, you know, the efforts and the things you're doing, man, just to really provide jobs and giving people things to do, man. As other entrepreneurs around Houston, around the globe, that's the sacrifices, that we're making. I'm in a position where, it's just me right now. I'm getting ready and looking forward to building the team around me, somebody else to do the editing and things like that, from all the things that I do. But right now, just me and my wife, and just me and my wife, and have someone that's working with us, man, that handled the schedule and everything, man. It's really been a blessing to her, man. Lisa, man, give a shout out to her, man. She's been a blessing, me and my wife, man. I'm talking through all the things that we do through ministry, business, coaching people, and just different sessions and meetings or whatever, man. She keep all that on track, man. So I, shout out to her on that. First time giving her a shout out on the podcast, man. So shout out to Lisa for all she do. Man, I'm looking at the time, man, and man, I hate for this to come to an end. But man, I'm telling you, man, this has been awesome, and this has been great. All you have already poured out to us, man. What is there any other insight, that last minute insight, final words that you can give to the Lead to Greatness community?
If I have to leave with some words, I think my words would be learn how to, a couple words. Let me say a couple things. Okay. Learn how to encourage yourself. Learn how to encourage yourself. Learn how to be your greatest cheerleader. Learn how to pat yourself on the back. Yeah. Secondly, learn how to take criticism. Everybody want to be told you're great. Everybody want to be told that was the best sermon you ever preached, or everybody want to be told that's the nicest car, but nobody want to be told, hey, you need some work. Yeah. You're not doing that as great as you could be doing it. Yeah. Hey, that wasn't quite as good as you normally deliver. Or hey, you need to sit down and revise this thing right here. Everybody want to be patted on the back, but nobody want to go back to the drawing board. You're not as great as you think you are. You're not as awesome as you think you are. Learn how to take that criticism, bite your tongue, swallow it, and say, you know what? Let me go back and reevaluate that. Maybe I didn't handle that employee the best way that I could have. I'm going to make sure I handle that situation a little bit better next time. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that contract as effective as I would have liked to. Next time, I'm going to do it better. Learn how to identify your own mistakes and figure ways to get better, to be better. Wow. And lastly, I'll leave the Lead to Greatness community with this. Learn how to identify greatness. Learn how to identify greatness. Greatness is all around us. Yeah. But if you're only looking for a Mark Zuckerberg to say you're great, if you're only looking for Elon Musk to say you're great, if you're only looking for a Bill Gates to say you're great, then you're going to be blinded by all of the talent that surrounds you every single day. Wow. There's greatness in the man who just started the lawn service. There's greatness in the man who has the painting company. There's greatness in the person who's just starting to bake brownies and cupcakes out of their house. But if because you look at them as being small and you don't appreciate their greatness, they're never going to achieve their full potential like they could because the people around them did not see greatness in them.
Wow, man. The Bible
learn how to appreciate greatness.
Wow. And the Bible says don't despise small beginnings. And a lot of times we look at that with our own selves, but man, that definitely the way we look at somebody else, you know, and what you just said, identifying greatness, man, that's so awesome, man. Man, great insight, man. Man, you killed it at the end. Golly, man, yeah. Hey, if someone wanted to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
Man, check me out at www.joshuatscott.com, www.joshuatscott.com. I'm on all the social media handles at Joshua T. Scott. On Instagram and Twitter, you have to put an underscore between Joshua T. Scott. So put an underscore between both of the T's. But you can Google me. That's the best way I can say. Go to Google and put in Joshua T. Scott. Everything will come up. All the information you needed. If you're in the Houston area, I'm located right in the Atascocita, Humble area at 2325 Atascocita Road, Humble, Texas, 77396. I'm excited to talk to any entrepreneur. Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur and you need guidance, if you're an entrepreneur and you just want somebody to bounce an idea off of, give me a call. Look me up, email me. But one thing I tell everybody, I am not a pretender. So if you call me telling me that you have $1 million idea but a $20 work ethic, I'm going to tell you got a $20 work ethic and you don't need to talk to me no more.
Absolutely.
Until you come up with that $1 million work ethic.
Yes. And that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, real quick, man, just a plug of your food truck, man. Go ahead and give the location, you know, the times or whatever, so somebody can check it out.
Again, everything that I do is located at 2325 Atascocita Road, Humble, Texas, 77396. It's Crazy Fries y Mas, home of the best wings and fries you can find. We have lemon pepper wings, buffalo wings, barbecue wings. We also have hot Cheeto fries, spicy chicken fries, barbecue fries, chicken Parmesan fries, chicken Alfredo fries. Whatever your mouth can taste, we probably put it on some fries.
What time you open up?
We open every day from 12 to 8 p.m.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Man, Josh, man, thank you. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to add value to us.
Thank you so much, Cedric, for having me. I really appreciate it. I hope that somebody is inspired, motivated, and willing to lead their community to greatness on some of the things that I said today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe notification button. And please leave a big thumbs up. If you're on iTunes, please rate this podcast and leave a review and help get the word out. Again, thank you, Lead to Greatness Nation, for joining us on today. Looking forward to seeing you again on next week. Till then, remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace. We out.